Good to go. And here we are in Elite TC with Mr. James Pullan himself. How you doing, my friend? How you getting on?
Good, man. Yourself?
I'm good. We're socially distanced, even though I just tapped your shoulder. We won't talk about that. That's all good.
Just keep that. We'll edit that bit, right?
That's all cool.
Green screen. Green screen.
Now we're back to normality, quote unquote, for the time being. So obviously we've got gyms back open. Obviously not the adult classes running yet, but kids classes. So at least people have got some more life in them now. Yeah. How have the kids classes been since things have come back open?
Heaving. It's been awesome. Yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing all the kids again. To be fair, it was. A little bit close. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's all right.
I'll get used to this. Yeah, no, as I say, it was cool. It was cool to see them all again. I'm quite impressed with some of them that have. That's better, isn't it? If I just come closer. I was quite impressed that some. Damn it! I keep dropping it. I'm terrible, aren't I?
Mic drop. It's all good.
Hold the mics where you want them. I'll adjust it throughout.
Oh yeah, man, I'm a fidget, so I'm going.
You keep going. It's fine.
You're gonna get so annoyed.
It's more just funny the fact I have to amend it. I love it more.
Oh, okay, we keep going.
It's even funny. It's Alan Partridge. Keep going.
Are we keeping this bit in as well?
Might
Sick.
as well. If I had my way, I'd love everything like this. All bloopers. I wouldn't have a podcast. It's all bloopers. Anyway, we keep going. So where were we? Kids classes, things back in action.
Yeah, it's cool, man. We've all the kids that were there before we had to shut. They've been itching to get back, and they've all returned. And they've come back just invigorized. They're so happy to be here. I'm happy to see them again, as I said. It's been awesome. It's only obviously a fraction. We haven't got all our kids' classes back. Our wrestling program is hopefully coming back May 17th. That's the plan. Along with some of our adult classes. Cross fingers that obviously we don't get locked down again and stuff. But yeah, no, everything's good. It's I'm glad to be back. It's nice. It brings a bit of structure to my day again, rather than waking up, take the dog for a walk, sit down,
back to bed,
go back to bed, eat,
walk the dog,
sleep, walk the dog, go back to bed,
walk the other dog.
Yeah. Well, lots of dog walks.
Many a dog walk.
Got to keep fit. Lots of dog walks.
That's what keeps us in shape through lockdown. It's all good.
All day. That's why I got a pup. That's why I got a pup. That's where Ragnar come.
Now, one thing I want to sort of get into is the kids class format anyway, how you guys like to do it. Because again, when it comes to kids anyway, unless they want to be there, they let you know they don't want to be there. Yeah. How would you like to structure your kids class? Obviously to give them fun, but also help them to learn. What's your general sort of, structure for a kids class?
I try and keep it simple. I don't try and overcomplicate things for them. And I try and build it. So I have a theme that I want to do for the week, show them like mount escapes kind of thing. So it's dropping again, sorry.
Old habits.
Man, I'm just lazy. I'm just going to drop again. But yeah, no, I always try and keep it fun. But they're here to learn. They're here to learn, no, not just martial arts, just respect, being good, decent human beings. So you've got to have a little bit of strictness, discipline with them. But I try not to be too much. They understand. If they do as I'm asking them to do, they'll get to have the games. They'll get to do what they want. But only if they've done what I've asked first. It doesn't work that you're going to tell me what you want and I'm just going to do it. It's not happening here. If I'm asking you to do the warm-up, and if I'm asking you to do this technique, please do it. You get it done. If you don't mess around, then, we get to do the fun bits at the end. The stuff that they hear that they want to do. Because no one likes to drill. Right. No, I mean, I'm sure not. I don't. I know I've got to, but it's boring, man.
But this is the reality of it, though, and this is why these things are so important at such a base level, because you understand about discipline, you understand about structure, you understand about prolonged gratification to get that bigger, more substantial sort of, goal. And I feel with kids anyway, martial arts is so prominent out of any sort of platform, because again, you get this sort of everything. You get that neo-traditional kind of respect, but again, it's not a sensei, it's not too sort of bravado. It's that kind of, you understand that, okay, listen when coach is speaking, but ask questions. It's not too, but this is that happy medium. You have to learn that sort of thing. It's a nice platform to have it. But regards of, when I say neo-traditional, it's what gets interesting with MMA, because it's very informal, but it's still a martial art. Like say with your adult class in the MMA, like how do you get that sort of level of respect there? Do you feel you've still got that kind of discipline with those guys? Obviously, they've got their own lives, they're all adults, but still that kind of not so much old school MMA, old school martial arts, sorry, but more the happy medium. How do you find that? I don't know, establishing that.
Good question.
Thanks.
To be fair, I have to admit, like everyone in my adult classes they're respectful as hell. So I don't really enforce it, if that makes sense. I don't proclaim to be someone I'm not. I'm truthful as to who I am. I'm truthful on my shortcomings of what I can and can't do, what I did and didn't do. And I think they respect that. I think they respect that I'm not running around saying I'm the best in the world. And but if you do what you're meant to do, and you know.
It's the transparency though, isn't it? And this is why I think this nature of the jiu-jitsu attitude, that sort of, I know I don't know everything.
Yes.
But if there's something you want to do, which I'm not too sure about, we can work out together.
All day.
We can try stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, I don't know, that authenticity really sort of, I don't know, it holds a lot of value. And again, when you say about like, obviously you haven't had to lay down the law because they understand they're here because they want to be here. But when it comes to fight camps and obviously people have their own commitments outside of the gym and training, how do you, I don't know, let them have their work-life balance, but also understand there's that overarching fight coming up that they've got to, you know, represent yourself from as well, outside of their own well-being as well.
Yeah. I feel
name names, we'll keep it general.
I'm very understanding with a lot. I appreciate everyone's got individual shoes. They've got their own life going on. Obviously, I'm aware of some things. I'm not aware of other things. So I'm not going to be too judgy, drop everything for me sort of thing. But I try to keep them real and aware of the fact that if your opponent is training, to beat you up. Right, that's it. Right. If you're not, you're giving him more chance to win. That's it. That's up to you. If you want to be the fighter, cool. But I won't put you in there if you ain't pulling your weight. So it's just I kind of put it on them. I'm open so they can come talk to me about things if they want to. Not everyone wants to. Some people do. Some people don't. That's everyone's choice. Again, not going to force people that, but I do try to remind them, as I say, that there's a bigger picture here. There's a reason you come to this gym. There's a reason you started doing what you've started doing. There's a reason you've been pursuing a goal. Don't blow it. Don't waste it. Just because your mates want to go out and have a drink, don't mean you have to go out and party on the night. You've got training the next day. Come on, you know. Realise that some things may seem really important, but they're not. So, I don't.
Well, again, it's the higher purpose you touched on there, and it's the more altruistic sort of way that really resonates. Because again, like you said there, going out with your mates versus training. On the instance for that surface level thing, you think it's pretty even. I'd like them both equally, but what would you rather do? Win your fight or see your mates?
Exactly.
So even then, people think, do you know what? I'll still do right, but would you rather lose your fight or go to training? That hits home. A lot of people don't really care about winning, but they don't want to lose. I'm more petrified of losing than I am about the joy of winning. 10 times out of 10. And
I've lost more than I've won. I hate losing. But
again, the tricky thing with this, I feel, is like at this level as well, it's such a double-ended sword, because when it comes to double-edged swords, not double-ended sword either, or same difference. It's more so, it's thankless, it's not rewarding yet, but you still have to commit the same amount as you would at pro. Because again, the level of stepping up, it should do. It's a good thing it is stepping up, but again, the commitments are then required to then step up. But then what? Again, I don't know, it's a hard thing to appreciate the bigger picture. And again, like, you're not going to sell them a dream. You're not going to say you win a couple of battle arena fights and there you got some pocket money to see you on for the rest of your life. No, it's
of course.
That's
that they'd say I'm a liar straight through it. Like you ain't going to get paid nothing in amateurs. You may get some ticket deal, but as you say, it's the bigger picture. It's So
this is what I mean. It's a hard one. This is why
it's tricky.
Ultimately, they have to get themselves here.
Yes.
You didn't get them here. They came here because they wanted to pursue it. They've stuck with you because they like the way you do it. And again, they've got their own personal reasons in the relationship you've earned and built. I say earned very deliberately. People will think, okay, I've got a coach. He's going to do everything all coaches do in the films. No.
Man, and this, I've learned over at one point I was giving so many people all my time, and I was really running myself quite scarce and thin all over. But it's now like I'm just because you want to fight doesn't mean that I'm just gonna drop everything for you to take you training all the time. You have to come in and earn that. Like we have a lad, he's been training with us. He's actually just been matched up to make his debut on Battle Arena. To be fair, yeah,
Exclusive.
man. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be real and honest. He's the hardest worker. He has come in and he has earned everything that he has been given, and that's it. He's come in, he's trusted the process, and he's embraced the grind, and he's just got on with it. And I will give you my time. You are gonna represent me. Yeah, you're gonna fight for yourself, and you've got your own reasons. But you're gonna carry my gym name on your shorts, your banner, your T-shirt. So I like it when people show me they want to be here. With him, I haven't had to force him to do anything.
But this is the biggest difference. This is something that really, again, it's a very prominent point here. He's earned that.
Yeah.
It's not been entitled. He's not shown up and default he's here.
No.
And on top of that, it's your time, your energy, your input and everything else. And again, there's so many layers to why that's important. And at amateur, as much as it's very flippant, you can use it to try and, progress and make your mistakes and make your learnings, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, it's still your name.
Yeah.
When a fighter from a gym does very well, the gym stock comes up, everyone wants to know about that gym, everyone wants to go there and spar with so-and-so.
Yep.
And collectively, your grassroots build up and everything else can sort of come with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the entitlement I feel I get frustrated with, is people feel that because they've been in the sport X amount of time, they should be at a certain level. They feel that because I've been part of the gym for X amount of time, I should get this amount of attention. But that's not how it works. But this is something I spoke about Ash Williams with, and everyone wants to learn about jiu-jitsu, progression, competition experience. It's definitely one to listen to, because again, it's about showing up doesn't get you the A. It's the minimum if you're going to get the A you need to do, but you have to be proactive. You have to ask the questions. You've got to show up at least. Obviously, working commitments, life gets them. I'm not going to pretend everyone can drop everything and train full time.
Of course.
But ultimately, if you're here twice a week, 'cause that's all you can do, you say, okay, James, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Give me one thing to work on my own. Something like that, prime example. Because what you're doing there is you're showing you want to be here.
Willingness to learn and want more.
Being coachable, asking questions. And again, this is...
I love that, man. I yeah, like you said the other week, it's ask a question and you're a fool for a minute. You don't ask a question and you're a fool forever. And you said that and that just resonated with me, and it's so true. Like, I would much rather someone ask...
That was Confucius, it wasn't me, actually. I'm not going to plagiarise that.
No, but I mean, as in, like, yeah, sorry, my bad.
I mean, I
but you knew what I
can
mean.
take that to life. I can take all the wise quotes.
Feel free, bruv. Why not?
It's fine. It's not just a lack of a haircut, but we'll talk about it later.
But it is that thing. I would much rather people ask questions. I don't know all the answers. If I don't know the answer, I will go out and try and find the answer. I'll be the first one to ask a question when I'm the student in the class. I love being the student, right? I love being the student more than being the coach, to be honest. But I tried to get people to see that I'll be the one asking the question. Yeah,
to be seen to be vulnerable.
Yeah,
because again, this is ultimately what it is. Because again, to be made a fool of and the rest of it, you're then putting yourself out there
on the pedestal.
Oh, why are you putting your hand there? Oh, you should know that you're this ranked. No, I asked the question. If that's okay, no, it's like you should know. Okay, cool, sick. Now I know that. Done.
Exactly.
Full stop.
Yeah,
but
done.
again, we say this very flippantly because we know how it is in retrospect. In the moment, everyone's there, everyone wants to get on with it, and then you have to chime in and say, Professor,
please, do you mind showing me that again?
Sensei. And it's like, okay, guys, here we go again, expecting this dramatic reaction.
For the 12th time, James is not listening.
but even then, it's never that dramatic unless you are being that knob. That's your own fault. But realistically, if you're saying, so how can we do that? Worst case scenario, they say, do you know what? I'm not too sure. Yeah. Don't quote me. That might be worst case scenario for someone else. Depends on the gym. Might be a nasty coach, but that's the thing. But this is the point, though.
Yeah.
I've done that at the gym so many times now, and I've gotten so much more from it. Even things. One thing I'm doing now, everyone, it's exhausting. It's so important. I'm trying to relearn everything I think I know. Listen to that very carefully. I think I know. How long have you been doing MMA for?
I started when I was 16, so I turned 32 month. So
If I told you in the 16 years you've been training that you've been doing your jab cross wrong, I'm not saying you are, how are you going to react to that? Initially, it's going to be a case of, what do you mean? I've been training this long, I know it inside out. But if you can take away that and think, okay, if I learn it from scratch, what do my ideals and my concepts, do they align with what's being taught? And if not, why not? And things like that kind of approach is very unnatural. We have our patterns, we build these habits, we build all this sort of stuff. But fuck, we try and relearn something. What's worse? Someone coming in the gym with a background that is counterintuitive to MMA, or someone coming in fresh?
Counterintuitive. Yeah.
And this is the point. If you've got a style, you know what you're doing. See you later. I'm not going to talk to you. Because again, it's being coachable to yourself and being coachable in general. It's a very important premise.
That's cool. I like that.
Can have it. There you are.
Thank you. Giving me more little gems, bruv.
But again, this kind of thing is mistakes I've made and potholes I've fallen into. Because again, like, we all think we know everything. We all very quickly to say, do you know what? This is something I've seen, read, or interpreted. And interpret is the key word here. You have taken this, you have read this from your background, your understanding, and this is how you've understood it.
Yeah.
And this is why when you ask white belts questions they may give a strange answer because their point of reference is so far removed from the bias you've already got. Like when you say what's next in the sequence, if someone passes your guard, you expect side control. What does the person who's never trained before think? And this is the idea. It's like, as much as it's very daft for them not thinking, okay, obviously you get the side control, you pass the legs. It's like, okay, now what? Do you run off that way somewhere? No. They don't know these things. But because they haven't got that prerequisite and that bias, they can have free thought about it.
Yeah, I like that.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, this is very unnatural. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, again, you have to relearn, and it's not it's not an easy process. Think about when you learn a technique from fresh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be PC with this, but again, you get people who aren't overly
Don't be
coordinated.
PC, man.
Like
You're in
myself.
elite. You don't have to be PC in elite.
But the general premise being that not everything comes naturally to a lot of people. Not everyone's actually athletic.
Nope.
Myself included. But we get there we get there step by step. And this is the point.
Yeah.
It's not a natural thing.
No, it's
If I told you your name isn't James, you're like, what are you on about? And then you're having to understand why that is your name still, why these things still are there. And then you get an even more solid root. It's a very tricky thing to say. Because when it comes to the way you teach and the way you coach, like, how much confidence do you have in what you coach? To be able to tell someone this is how you do certain things.
To be honest, I will not coach you saying I don't know. Or at least, without sounding arrogant.
No, but
I will not coach you saying I'm not confident I can answer questions if you can't work it out, if that makes sense. If I'm trying to show you an armbar from somewhere and a white belt, so I just can't figure this out. If I don't know how to be able to come back and break down that technique to get it right and you're doing this bit wrong, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to wait for the person that can show you to come and show you, if that makes sense. Like, there's some things that when Chris comes in,
Big up Chris Fensom.
yeah, of course, big up Chris Fensom. Right, wizard level. He'll come in, he'll show these bomb. That's because he knows all these so many techniques and advances. I'm not gonna try and pretend to be that until I'll go away and I'll study what he's shown us, and I'll pick out what bits I like. Okay, I remember this bit, but that's new, right? So I'm now putting that into my. And then until I can start pulling it off in sparring or whatnot, again, I'm not really going to try and show you that technique until I'm like, yeah, I can show you that technique. So I'm confident in what I show to my level.
So this is what the reason I asked is it wasn't to sort of catch you out. It's more so to sort of expand the premise that you're showing what you believe you understand.
Yes.
And something you have reference points. Again, the reason you believe these things is because you've got reasons to believe it. If I told you every time you jab you got to go sideways, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Whereas if you say, okay, if you're going to jab step a center line to avoid the power side and so on and so forth, you've got reasons, you've got layers and layers and depth of understanding, which is why when you get questioned on things, people get on the back foot because they've been questioned on their ideals.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got, information to say, I do this because of that, because of this and that, you've got reasons, you've got depth. And albeit if it's wrong, you find out why it's wrong, because then that avenue of thing is wrong in inverted commas, because again, you don't know if it could be right again because of another thing that comes out.
Yeah, man, like, to be fair, you saying that, like, I remember it was like literally 2 weeks before Chris come into a class and I was showing a technique and I was like, right, you do this. Because I believe that was right. It's worked for me and that. Chris come in and he showed a technique. He's like, don't do this. I'm sitting there like, oh, damn, I just told everyone to do that like 2 weeks ago. Like, that's wrong. Now I've learned that's wrong. I'm going to stop telling people that just minor little, like...
So the caveat with this is what I know for now.
Yes.
And this is the difference. Because again...
Educate me, don't belittle me. That's the way I like to think about it. If I don't know something, educate me on it. I don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. And there's so much to learn. So when I'm asking, just, be sound when I'm asking. Like, explain it. And that's cool. Educate me. Don't belittle me. I want to... Yeah.
No, but this is even with this anyway. If we take it away from martial arts, even yourself personally, when the PlayStation 3 came out, you could say that's the most advanced PlayStation console.
Yes.
Now we're on the PS5.
It's not.
The information at that point was true.
Yes.
But the information at this point now is not true.
Yep.
But does that mean you were wrong for saying it was right at that time?
No.
This is my point, and this is why it's trying to reword things. Because when it comes to explaining these things, the language is so important. Because are you wrong or are you right for what you said? The context of all this sort of stuff. Is it just an updated version of the same software? Is it the same thing? Would what you've done worked at a certain stage? Then how is it wrong? And this is why these things are very intricate to word, because otherwise you get the wrong tone across, especially when it comes to martial arts. People getting their bravado and their, like, I don't know, assay in a twist or whatever, and they get upset about things. And it's very much like, okay, you belittling me by asking a question. Well, actually, I'm trying to understand it in further detail.
Yeah.
That's why concepts are so important, so universal. Like, you one for using concepts. Is that a preference the way you explain things?
Yeah. I try. if I can relate it. Yeah. I don't really know if I have like a strict way of... I kind of float in amongst many different ways to educate, to teach. It's I'm just trying to think.
But this is sort of the thing. Because when I say about concepts-based things, what does that mean? Because again, there's so many different intricacies. Like if you gave me a set, I don't know, a triangle set, for example, you could give me an analogy for this, that, and the other, and that's one situation. Whereas it could be a different one for a takedown and all these sort of things. To say you're being concept-orientated, again, it's being very specific. And this is where being specific and saying what you mean is so important. Even in like a fighting sense, how many people get asked to be sponsored? Tell me right now, what the fuck does it mean to be sponsored? Exactly that. Yeah. People say, I want to get sponsored. What does that mean? This is my point. People, upcoming amateurs, people trying to get sponsored by the podcast, ask for freebies, you're not going to get any. Is that you get self-entitled amateurs, again, I say this very deliberately, who want freebies. That's very different to an upcoming person who wants support to get to where they want to go.
Stage,
because they need specific things. They need a service, they need a product, they need payment to go towards something. So for anyone looking to get sponsored with things, write out exactly what the ideal situation is. If I came to Fisticuffs podcast and I said, I want a sponsorship for this event, what do I actually need? If you had everything you wanted, what would it look like? And that's a fucking start. Or ideally, it's not going to be like, I'm not going to pay for all your stuff. Don't start asking me for stuff. But it's more the premise that, okay, what do you actually want? Not even in a flippant way. Literally, what are you asking of me? Do you just want me to shout you out on my social media?
Yeah.
Do you want freebies? Do you want money?
Yeah.
What do I get back? That's the thing as well. It's a two-way thing, not a one-way thing. I don't know who I'm aiming this at. It's passive aggressively.
You
pointing at the
you
camera.
out there.
Just the camera. It's out of spite. Like, oh, you fucking cunt.
All you people that message me.
All you like Asian manufacturers trying to sell me karate suit and
Man,
BJJ gi.
how many have you had message you?
2 a day. I get a lot of random like dating app requests, things on my Facebook a lot from
Mate, that's annoying as shit as well.
Pre-sec things, and the ones I sign up for as well, they get in the way. Like, they get lost in there. Don't actually sign up for them, anyone listening. I thought you like that. Freudian slip, whoops. So we see.
I had to click then. Fucking hell. Oh man, I get so many of them.
Which one?
The missus is over there. I can't say that.
We can cut it out. It's fine.
Yeah. Edit. Of the,
this is confession trying to catch you out. That's what it was. There's no real podcast.
Yeah, the man. Yeah, no. Will you put him up to this? Nah, but the manufacturer. To be fair, I do get the odd like spam messages in my Facebook inbox. I'm like just. I thought my profile was on private. How can you lot even still message me?
Now, I tell you what, if any of the amateurs had the work rate those guys do to message us and do this sort of stuff, I mean, you're going to go to the UFC, no doubt.
Mate,
Because
you're
I
going
get
all the way.
WhatsApps, emails, message requests, everything.
How did they get my How did they get my mobile number?
You can't get guys to training every day, 4 times a week.
Like, but I've got some dude telling me that he's the best manufacturing company in the world. I'm like,
He means it as well. You don't know what those words mean. You stuck them in Google Translate and hope for the best. That's the end of that. That's why it comes. Hello, Sir, Madam. That's always a nice.
I'm
person
sure
to
they
touch.
send me the same pictures as well, just different people, different. It's like,
Is this the dating site again?
Fuck. Mrs. is giving me evils like, you what? No. You're getting me in trouble here, bruv.
What happens on the podcast stays in the podcast.
Back to martial arts.
Back in the studio. Oh yeah, MMA, that thing.
Yeah, what's that
Oh
sport?
yeah, the cauliflowers. These
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
They get in the way. So back to we'll go back full circle. So about class structure and setup and things like this.
Yes.
In the nature of the ambiguity of what is the right thing to do versus what is the best thing and always changing all that kind of stuff, what core principles do you feel are so important for beginners or kids or whatever else to get started with, regards of one, applicational skills, regards of like striking, wrestling kind of stuff, and also just general behaviour sort of thing? Do you see what I mean? The way you'd like your beginner athletes to sort of, I don't know, compose themselves, sort of hold themselves.
So in terms of like styles,
Or just their attitude. So say someone comes in, what attitude would you like them to have, and what concepts would you like them to prioritise as such when it comes to day one, sort of?
Day one, the first attitude that I want, and the only real attitude that I want from is hard work. Like, if you tell me, if you're gonna tell me you're gonna do something, show me you're gonna do it. So that is above all else for me. Just hard work. I'd rather have a gym of 20 people that are hard workers than 20 talented people. The talented people will always have excuses, attitudes. They don't want this. They know that. All right, cool, fantastic. You know it all. Awesome.
What am I here for?
Yeah, exactly. The hard workers, they're like, right, I'm here because I need to get 1% better today. So that's the attitude I like to see. In terms of everything else, I kind of leave it up to wrestling. Is the number one.
Wrestling.
Yeah, like you wrestling is that is my number one. You have to be attending wrestling. You can't even want to step inside, in my opinion, step inside an MMA cage if you don't know how to wrestle. Obviously everything else is vitally important as well, but to me it's if you get your hard work in and you get into the wrestling, and then from there if you want to become a striker or more of a submission artist, cool. If you want to, their training is up to them, as long as they're coming in working hard, and as I said, to me, making sure they're attending the wrestling. Everything else, I like it just developing how to that person kind of. I don't have like a
Now, the reason
template.
I asked that question, and deliberately a tricky question, because people, you're welcome, mate, is because people will ask those sort of questions. They think, okay, if I'm going to do MMA, where do I start? And the answer is somewhere.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you need all of it.
Yes.
And everyone wants to get fit before they get in the gym. They want to do everything like this before they get stuck in.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the point.
Amount of people I've had tell me, I've got to go get fit before I come down your gym. Oh, that's going to work for you.
But the thing is, they mean it, because what happens is you get the anxiety of getting gassed, getting hurt, and all this kind of stuff. And again, it all comes from a very sincere place. When people come up to you and say they want to be the next Conor McGregor or whatever, they mean it. Maybe nonsense, but they mean it. May never happen because they don't mean a word they're saying properly, in hindsight. But at the time, they'll pass a lie detector.
Yeah.
They believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
And again, this ambiguity is so important. But regards of attitude, like what you said about that hard work, and on top of that, there's general enthusiasm as well. But when it comes to the hard work, there's layers to what hard work really means. There's output, there's listening, there's actually being proactive with what you're doing. And again, there's so many more.
There's more to than what people think there is when I say hard work.
This is what I mean by. This is why I want to really highlight the depth of what you actually say. Because again, you know what you mean,
Yeah.
but to really highlight what that means to people who don't know exactly what you mean, because again, it's the layers behind all of it. The fact that you have to show up. Full stop. Showing up consistently is hard work.
Yeah.
When you've got schedules, you've got life commitments, showing up.
It is not easy, but that's discipline.
Facing the anxieties, facing the mental side of, even getting through camp, even going to the gym in the first place. Again, I had it this morning with a Thai session. I was anxious about coming to it. I was tempted to, call in whatever else and say, I want to recover, want to call this. But again, when it comes to the anxieties here, for everyone listening here, obviously it's case by case, but my level of anxiety doesn't change. But my way of dealing with it, the pattern recognition, things like that, you learn to deal with that. You learn to manage it. And if you need to take the day off, it's not the end of the world. But these are things you learn. But you learn it by earning it. You have to put these hours and you have to put yourself in this situation. This is why when you say what you mean, this is the depth it comes down to. And again, by all means, interrupt me if I get anything wrong with this.
No.
But this is the point.
Hitting the nail on the head at the moment.
I hope so. Is that date psych? I think I signed up to that one. But that's another thing anyway. We'll get to
It's not
it.
a free one. No, but
Is that the premium one you gave me a discount code for? But this
Why
is the
would you
point.
want
This is the point. This is why you built the facility you have and have the people you have, because you don't want that to happen to them.
of course,
Don't wish to not get gassed. Wish to get fitter so you don't get gassed.
all day.
Don't make the sport easy. Get better at the sport. That's the difference.
It's fitness. Going back to I'm gonna get fit before I come down. You're not gonna get fit to do this unless you come do this and you start living the lifestyle that you have to live with this. That's not trying to we're above. No, it's just we're different. We're not a treadmill gym. We're not one of these.
If you want to get better at football, play football.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to get fit at boxing, don't go running. Don't go rowing. Don't go down the gym 4 times a week to lift weights. Go box. Duh. Like,
this is gonna hurt people how accurate this is. Ready? Most of the fatigue comes from the anxiety of the training, the stress of it. That's what I've been gassed way more worrying about things.
Of course,
I'm gassed before I get in the cage.
I've been there, felt I felt a lot of things before getting in the cage. But it's all in your head. It is all in your head. But well, not all in your head, but it does play a massive part. It does play a massive part. If you're already talking yourself down, this is what, for whatever reason you're talking yourself down, you are just gonna then live out those thoughts.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Again, you get this whole thing. I'm going to lose. Or look, I lost. What a surprise. And again, when people say about manifesting things, putting things in the universe, first of all, you're a fucking idiot. But second thing, is there some truth to the general premise? You
Put
set
positivity out there.
It's not even the positivity; it's the facts. This is what really holds through. This is why people say my stuff's positive. It's not. I'm a realist. I'm a nihilist. But what I am is honest. Honesty isn't putting yourself down. Honesty is saying the facts.
Yep.
And this is where what you're saying there has got more weight behind it. You know the hours you put in. You can't lie to yourself.
No.
You know what your camp's been like. You know when you've slacked off. You know when you put the extra sort of afterburners on. And this is the point. When I say about being grateful, I say about the training, say about the anxiety and stuff, it's not positive. It's facts. It's literally facts.
Yeah.
You woke up this morning. It's a good day.
Yeah.
Full stop. That's not my opinion. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And again, this is why these things work. You don't get your confidence by just bullshitting yourself. You have facts, you have absolutes, and this is why you are who you are. You earn your confidence. You earn what you have. You don't get confident. You earn your confidence. You don't get tough. You earn your toughness. You build this stuff. And again, it's a very hard thing to appreciate because no one wants to hear it.
Nope.
They want to just go on the treadmill a couple of times a week and look, they can do 5 5s in this week.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. If only.
I'm still banking on that that theory.
Yeah.
Here we are now.
It's you're all right. I like it's facts. But I dig that.
But again, this is the reason why this is important. Is because when push comes to shove, when you train, you use the moves, the techniques. I hate using the term moves, so I don't know why I use that. It's a casual thing to say.
Like
but
Jagger. Boom. Trying.
We're doing bits. But the point is, when you're sparring, you can do whatever. When you're sparring hard competition, you do what you've practiced.
What you know works.
In the situation you're
Danny
in.
Batten once.
Oh God, careful with Danny Batten's story. We said it wasn't PC, but here we go. Go on.
Nah, to be fair, this was, must have been like 12 years ago now. I remember Danny Batten sitting down and at the end of a MMA class in the basement, And he just explained to us, he's like, I know this much, but when I go to compete, I use this much, because he trusts in them techniques work. So he's not gonna waste his time with the 98% of the techniques that he already knows, because the 2% is what he needs, kind of thing. And
So
that's kind of stuck with me ever since. It's like, yeah, get as many weapons as you want, but then pick out the ones that you actually like to use.
Well, there's two sort of premises with it. This thing I was getting at was, you get time and value out of things you put that time into.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you have a game as such, an A game or a B game, is because you put time in the A game.
Yep.
That's why the value's there. But what Daddy said there is even better. There's a separate sort of thing with this. That's the idea of having a big toolbox and only using the spanner. If you try to bang your nails with a spanner, it means you haven't got a big enough toolbox.
No. Yeah.
If you have a spanner and you choose to use it on a screw or whatever, not a screw, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm
on a good nut bolt. I can tell I'm not sparky or anything or chippy. Using a spanner on a nut or a bolt, whatever. Because you've chosen the appropriate tool for the job.
Yes.
There's a big difference between a virtue and a vice with this. If you're using your spanner to bang in a nail, it's not because it's a better tool to use, because you haven't got the option of a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using your spanner to use it on the nuts or the bolts, it's because it's the best tool to use.
Yes.
If you have the option, it's different. You have to earn the option. You have to have that in your toolkit. If you lose a fight because you didn't finish the triangle, it's not because the triangle was the only thing that was wrong, because you didn't have a follow-up, you didn't have anything else prior to that. Like, the fights I've lost isn't because that specific technique wasn't drilled enough. Like, the fact a fight I had ended up in a triangle at some point, what happened the 3.5 minutes before that point?
Mm-hmm.
What happened before that point?
Yeah.
That specific instance, people give so much weight behind it. Give a shit. If we were to roll now, say I was freshly tattooed, and we start in like a leg lock position, and I roll out, is it because your leg locks aren't good enough, or does it matter? No, you have a follow-up, you do something else. That's not the point. And then you would lose sleep over maybe a DARS or something you end up in, or something like this, for example. You think, well, there's a leg lock earlier, why didn't that happen? Why is that not a priority? And so on and so forth. People give the whole weight to one specific area, but it's a much bigger picture.
Picture's massive. Picture is massive. Yeah, you can't just be too spot specific.
And this is the idea of being well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
And the nature of the best and worst part about this, you'll never know everything, but you'll get to keep learning.
Yes.
It's the same thing, the exact same thing, but the attitude towards it changes. And what you said there at the start was something I've made such a point on. The wanting to come back. You don't have to train, you get to train.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing. That's where the enthusiasm comes from. That's where all the keep fitters come out of nowhere back in the gym.
Yeah.
Because they get to.
Yeah.
They had to beforehand. Now they get to. They miss it. And this is the difference. This is why when you see people hugging up your gym space, taking your spots and this, that and the other, take it with a pinch of salt, because again, if it was taken away from you, you'd want it back so much more. And this is the point. Be that person. Emphasize what they'd want. Think about that energy of, okay, I've had what I wanted taken away from me. Now what? If you're a kid, you've got a toy, you leave it to one side. When is the only time you want to play with it? When someone else is playing with it.
Yep. Yeah, true.
It's taken away from you. It was there. It's taken for granted. Whenever you
didn't want it when it was yours, but then someone else. Yeah.
And this is the point. This is why we see other people like this. Again, the reason we say us and them is because this is the time, the energy, the norms, the values. Us training 5-6 times a week in the gym all the time, that's just a normal week. For a lot of people, fuck me, that's boring. Oh, I want to go to the pub, I want to see my mates, I'm tired from work, and so on and so forth. And neither is right or wrong. But this is why we say them and us. It's not a hierarchy. It's not better or worse. It's just we do our thing, they do their thing. And again, their thing is equally as valuable as important. But again, it's our worlds and our values and so on and so forth. Yeah. And this is why we make that distinction. And it's not any kind of elitist kind of thing. Hey, elite, there we are.
Hey, boom, boom.
We got it in there. This is why these
Plugged.
things are... But this is the nature of these conversations, because again, it gets so blown out of proportion. You get these sound bites, athletes, MMA fighters. No, we're just people who train and do what we love. Yeah. That we do what we do because same reason you do what you do. Because it's fun. Yeah. Like you don't do an MMA, you don't run an MMA gym because it's it's easy. There we are.
Hell no.
Because it's valuable.
Hell no.
It's rewarding.
Yeah.
Like, albeit like H getting a win on a battle arena means, I imagine, just as much as any sort of world title or anything else. Because again, it's
all day. Some of my proudest moments from this gym is when my kids have picked up medals at the Southend Open. Like that just blew me away that day. The sense of pride that I felt for them competing, just to go from 18 months before not knowing how to break full to now, like, yeah, I'm gonna go compete against another kid that I don't even know that he's been training. So to see people to evolve, progress, whatever you want to call it, yeah, man, that's so much more rewarding to me. So much, but people overlook that. People don't see that. People will think, oh, it's this, that. No, it's none of that. I'm not here for the money. I'm not here because it's an easy life. I'm here because it changes people's lives. Like, and I think not just me. I ain't gonna sit in.
Nice.
What's that?
I've got goosebumps. Fucking.
Oh,
Oh,
mate,
no, it's good.
Inspirational.
No, but literally though, as much as you're gonna be flippant and polite about it and modest and the rest of it, it is.
Yeah.
Like saying, think about the people before they come in. They haven't been exposed to this, same beginners and stuff and everything else.
Yep.
They don't know what they're doing. To then come to where they are now. Yes, they're not the world champion yet, but tell you what, they're a lot further than they were.
Yep.
They're a lot better than they were. And again, confidence and everything else. Again, you'll see it in different ways, shapes and forms. You'll see it people putting in their bio their MMA fight, all these sort of little things. But what that means, they've got an extra layer of value. They felt they didn't have a place, they didn't know who they were. For this moment, at least for now, they've got this title. They think, you know what, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I feel I belong. Their sense of community. And again, the value of that, when you're sort of wandering around thinking, you know what, where do I fit in the world? Where's my mates? I didn't fit in there, I didn't like them, but look, now I found a place. If nothing else, for these couple sessions I do every now and then, I don't have to worry about anything else. And that is so invaluable.
Yeah.
It's so invaluable because, again, this is why they get all the reaction when they're not there. When the gyms close down because of COVID, obviously there's other priorities at hand, but in their world, it's devastating. And again, like, we've all been the same when it's taken away from us.
Yeah, totally. As I say, it's seeing whether it's Tommy, Cayman, H winning, getting the hand raised in the cage or the ring or on the mats or whatever, or I say the kids getting medals, or I hear from one of the parents, because of what you guys have taught my son or my daughter, they're not getting bullied at school, or their grades are doing better, they're listening more in class because they've had to listen in class here, and they've learnt that, oh, you know what, if I actually listen to what the teacher's telling me, I can do this. Like, instead of talking to Timmy next to me and like, oh yeah, what you do? Oh yeah. No, and ignoring it, through what we've taught them, have changed so many people's lives.
But this is what I mean though, because again, as much as you're taking it back a bit, trying to, like, you know, rein it in, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And again, when it comes to kids, the reason why this is so important to even a constructivism kind of Piaget kind of idea where they learn to play games. Again, this is a sort of Jordan Peterson concept, and again, it's the whole thing that it's not winning the argument and stuff, it's being invited to more conversations. Like, for example, if I tell you the mats are, I don't know, blue, you tell me they're red, like,
we'd both be colourblind, bro.
well, this is it. It's the case of, okay, well, actually, tell you what, I'm not going to start effing and jeffing. I'm going to say, tell you what, I'll stick where you are. Look, I can see the red reflection from this or whatever, and you think, okay, this is why you see that. That's more valuable than me calling you a dickhead and saying, oh no, look, I'm right, look at me. And this is the point, because then you get invited back to another conversations, and kids get that sort of social skills. They understand, okay, if I want to stay in class, I need to listen. I need to play this game. But on top of that, when they spar, they know it's not about hurting my sparring partners to win. Okay, if I play nicely, they want to spar with me.
Yeah, of course.
And learn to play, learn to be able to invite. And
lose.
And lose well.
Yeah.
And lose often.
Like, need to and to just teaching them that, you know, like, I tell them I get tapped out. I don't care if I get tapped out in class. Like, me getting tapped is an opportunity. You know, I like, how did you catch me? Not because I'm uncatchable. Just, I didn't see what you did. Can you show me how, like? But the kids are very. I've had a lot of kids, like, you know, they get tapped out in class and they'll get upset. You don't have to get upset, man. This is your chance to come back again.
Happens the best of it.
Oh, of course. I'm not going to sit here and say I've never been upset when I first started and whatnot. But obviously, like we said, you learn, you put the hours in, you understand, you hear, you educate yourself for what's required, and depending on your passion, how much further you want to educate yourself on it.
And one thing with that as well, something to really note, is something you said there. We still care when we get tapped. Yes. The whole point with this is, it still stings the ego. It still upsets you because, again, you're putting time, you want to win, and again, it's trial and error. But it's not a case of you stop caring or shouldn't care, but you should find ways of managing those emotions.
Yes.
This is the difference, because again, if you think I should just stop caring, when people say don't worry about other people's opinions and stuff, it's a rule of thumb. But the reason you should care to an extent is to understand why it bothers you.
Yes.
You should ask these questions. Okay, why does someone saying me losing a fight means I should give up? Well, because, you know, maybe I thought that at a time. Maybe it's confirming something I might end up being.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if I give more confidence to what I'm doing, I will have more of a confident answer to myself. Because ultimately, they're just words.
Yep.
But what they mean to you is a projection of how it makes you feel and why, if you said it to yourself, would you agree with it? And this whole... It's a very back and forth. It's a constant battle of understanding, okay, why am I here? What am I doing? And the answer is going to keep changing. But the point is, you're asking the question. The point is, the fact you care, the fact that it upsets you is a good start. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. If you don't care, that's worse than not getting happy and upset and the rest of it. If you don't feel, you don't get to feel. This is what I mean. And when it comes to everything that you're saying there, it touched on various different topics here. You said about the frustration when people don't show up when you want them to, and then the absolute just pinnacle when they do well, and how you can actually experience that feeling through them. And again, you have to be involved in it. You can't have one without the other.
No.
And if you're indifferent, saying I don't care who fights, who doesn't, then you don't care what happens. You don't get to have that moment. You don't get to have a sting in the chain when everyone loses one night. You don't have those sort of, you know, tear-soaked Nando's. You have to have both. Again, you need that experience, and this is why this is so important for kids at an early stage, even to be able to lose, understand that losing is okay.
Yes.
I've lost many a fight. I've lost competitions. I've lost all these things, but I've never quit and I've never failed. I'm still here. I'm not undefeated, but I'll tell you what, I'm still training. I'm still breathing, and I'm winning.
Still standing, bro.
This is what I mean. Like, I'll tell you, this is another thing. This is something I find really funny, is what quitting actually means. So right this second, I'm not training, but I'm going to train one of my tattoos. I'll train tomorrow. But have I quit? Whereas someone says they quit, what's the difference? Right now, I'm not training. Have I quit? It's exactly this. It's like, okay, what does that actually mean? And then, are you going to go back to, what happens if you go back in X amount of years? Did you actually quit then at that point? These sort of layoffs. And again, people get themselves in these own little situations. But take a bit conscious of time anyway. There's a few questions I'd like to end on.
Cool. That's cool.
The first one is, you're about to compete, albeit jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever else. In walks you. What advice do you give to yourself to perform in the best mindset?
What, as if I'm grappling myself?
No, you're about to walk out.
Right.
You're about to...
Sorry.
You Freudian slip.
No.
Is that the websites again, is it? But
checking my inbox. I weren't paying attention.
In the message request.
Sorry.
So here it is. You're about to make the walk. You get a pep talk from yourself. What advice do you give yourself so you perform?
You're the man. No, I'm playing.
Again, it can be something like that.
To be honest, one of the best things that I ever got told was I lost my last MMA fight. I lost against Imran Khan. So I took time away from competing in MMA to go compete in jiu-jitsu. Focus a little bit more on the individual arts a bit and better myself. Obviously, I was nowhere near good enough. So anyway, and I sought out my boxing coach at the time, he had been dabbling in a little bit of sports psychology and stuff, and he noticed that I had some anxieties and that I weren't able to at the time to get over, kind of thing, right? So he just simply told me that this was about Kleos as well, is that when you get there, what's going to be different than what you do in the gym? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, what are they going to do different? Are they still going to take you down like people take you down in the gym? I was like, yeah. And he's like, and what do you do? Do you defend the takedowns and blah, blah, blah? We went into details on each section, and it just made me realise that the only thing that is different is I don't know the person, but you're still going to be doing techniques that I'm aware of. So where's my hang up? So he kind of just got it. He helped me see the fact that we all have two arms and two legs. We all bleed and breathe the same way. You should not fear another man because for any other reason. Like, no, don't. Oh, he's got a load of tattoos. He must be well solid. What?
Intimidated by me now because I've got.
I am, man. To be fair, well, I'm not intimidated. I'm slightly in awe of some of these tattoos.
I think it.
Like, to be fair, I'm.
Big up, Cayman.
Yeah,
But one thing you touched on there is
Another
so
plug.
prominent. Something you said there. The anxiety is still there,
Cause
but the management there is on top
Yes.
of that to help deal with that.
yes,
Again, don't ask for the absence of fear. Ask for the courage to overcome that fear, and this is the difference.
20 seconds of blind courage.
But even that's a shot of anything you want. But that's another conversation. But again, the reason why that prominent to you, again, obviously it's a long soundbite to give to yourself before you walk out. The fight's already over at this point.
Yeah.
But again, the idea that, do you know what, reminding yourself why you've felt this way before.
Yeah.
Like what causes it and how you then deal with that.
Mm.
So again, it's very important to have that kind of reference point. Again, whatever wording you want to use to articulate that is fine. But the point is, you've then explained, instead of a soundbite, you've given me the actual background behind that. So perfect. This one's a bit more fun. I think I know the answer, but I'll ask you anyway. Post-fight, victory, belts, all the rest of it. What is the takeaway? What is the damage afterwards? What's the food? Talk to me. Let me answer the question again. What's your Nando's order?
So I have a double chicken wrap, but I have pineapple with it as well. You know, I have to have my peri peri chips as well.
What flavour? What spice in the wrap? Real questions on Fisticuffs.
It's either hot or medium. Depends what mood I'm in.
Depends who you're trying to impress.
Well, that's also true. Well, then I'll go very hot. You know, if I'm trying
Just
to
put
put
the flag on, get playing.
yeah,
Sorry to hear.
that inbox message comes through is very hot.
They're very plain in my case, but here we are. Each their own, horses for courses, literally in some cases, but here we are. That's another website, don't worry about that one. That's in the
Horses
dark
for
web.
courses. What is that? Another one you've signed up to?
It's like Plenty of Fish.
But that
Don't worry about that one. Don't ask, don't tell, don't worry. That's another conversation. So the Nando's order, there we are.
But yeah, no, to be fair,
Medium to hot.
God, it's been a while since I've competed or anything. So, but for everyone else, they always want their Nando's. They always have their chocolate and their crisps and their God knows what, their monster cans. Rockstar, yeah. Do we plug them as well? Another
Keep an eye on my account. We always change the pound for pound listings. This one's my favourite. Matthew Elliot's got the preferences, but the conversation there. It's an art. I get a lot of engagement on it as well. People fucking have an opinion.
Drink 3 of them real quick. Like me and my mate years ago when we were working in the factory, we brought a blue one, a green one, and a yellow one, and we were just trying to see whether you could drink 3 monsters that quick before your heart exploded, kind of.
That's good. I mean, if you've lived to tell the tale, I think we know the answer to that.
Yeah, well, the heart palpitations that I went through were scary as
And the
shit.
shit's probably as well.
Like, yeah, mate, that was bad.
That's good. That's traumatising in itself.
Such a weird colour
We're
as
still
well.
on the Nando's. Is this the Nando's order still as well? This is a long time Nando's. The last question. Day one beginner walks in. Full of beans. Loves it, wants to get stuck in. What is a rule of thumb you give them to perform, to get started on the right foot?
The rule of thumb, have fun.
Perfect.
That's it.
Absolutely spot on.
Just have fun. Like, that's what everyone else is here for. Everyone enjoys being here. Everyone enjoys doing what they're doing. So, yeah, obviously, if you want to come in and you want to be this and that, that's cool. But you're in training. You don't have to every class turn up with this. I'm going to fuck everyone up in sparring because I want to be a world champion. All right, cool. That's going to make you have less training partners. And then training is not going to be fun for you. So keep it fun. Everything else just falls into that. So, yeah, that's where my ground rule would be, kind of thing.
Well, definitely, because then you want to get there in the first place. So we'll call it there. So regards to seeing your classes, people getting involved with the gym, where can people find you?
Top of the high street.
Depends what you need.
Yeah, you can find us on
Plenty
Instagram,
Of course.
Tinder. What was the other one you said?
Anyway, I said it's all you, mate. I didn't say anything. There's no video evidence. We can cut off my mic. It's all you.
Oh shit! Is that why you went for the red one? Oh crap!
Is that more for your shit?
You
guys?
just said that was player one. That was why. Yeah, no. Instagram, Facebook. We're on Twitter. We are looking to hopefully have our own Thai boxing and boxing gym opening to go alongside our jiu-jitsu, wrestling and MMA side. So that's pretty cool. So people should definitely keep out for that. Keep an eye out. Keep out. That weren't right, was it? Keep an eye
Keep
out
an
for
eye
that.
out for it. Don't
Yeah.
keep out of it just yet.
Keep
So-
out. Don't
and
come
also,
down.
regards to
Stay
the,
away.
With the kids classes, what are the age groups you got classes for? What's the?
So we have 5 to 10-year-olds and then 11 to 16-year-olds. Just try and keep it simple split. But yeah, just ping us an email, Elite Training Centre lb@gmail.com. Just send it over. We've got a waiting list at the moment because classes are that busy, which is
Champagne problems, stuff. That's it.
yeah, obviously, like just mainly down to the COVID restrictions that have limited our class sizes and that. Hence why it's busy at the moment. But I'm still impressed with the numbers that are coming through. Hopefully, June 21st comes around. Social distancing rules end apparently, according to some government plan thing that I've seen before they change their mind. And then obviously we'll be opening our classes up a bit more to have more members in. But yeah, just ping us a message. We got all our adult programs coming back from May, and I say with the Thai boxing venture and that, hopefully some big new rewarding things are on the horizon.
Well, this is it again. Links to those will all be in the description. And again, be sure to check out James, all the guys here. Again, I've had loads of them on the podcast, and there's a reason I'm here now. A reason I've made this journey out here because again, people have a lot of integrity. They want the sport to do well, and again, authentic, transparent people want to be around. Now, I'll give a shout out to our sponsors with English Hypnotist, so Richard Hart. So when we talk about these things all the time about mental health and well-being and how you manage certain things, again, I've been one who's been self-sabotaged. I make my own sort of roadblocks and dealing with these things. Like I was saying about James as well. Those conversations with Richard can really help you understand why you make these decisions. And even from a developmental point of view, it's not so much a fixing a problem, but understanding why you do certain things. It can be very eye-opening, a very important conversation it will be. And also a good performance nutrition. So Dan Good, again, a very family-orientated person. He was a professional fighter formerly in MMA. Again, a very family-orientated person, very people-orientated person. And now he's taken a step into the nutrition side of things with the proteins. And again, the products themselves, very affordable, good quality, they mix well. And again, you'll see my testimonials on my Instagram. There's a reason I work with him professionally and the reason I spend time with him socially, because again, he's a person with integrity, much like James, and again, people in this community. And the nature of these things, please support the sponsors. If you can't place an order because of financial reasons, share posts, like stuff. Again, doesn't cost anything and helps engagement, helps people sponsor these things and keep these things viable. But ultimately, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for your time. Stay safe, stay grateful, and keep being you. Fantastic, my friend. Thank you.
Peace.
Awesome. Hands coming.